The Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine has been shown to be 95% effective in preventing a deadly disease called COVID-19. This is a great news, right? But sadly, it doesn't mean we can get the vaccine tomorrow. This is a preliminary analysis from phase 3 trial of vaccine development, and more evidence is required about how safe and effective this vaccine is. And then regulators need to be convinced that it can meet quality standards before it can be given to more people worldwide. As early data revealed on Wednesday, 18 of November, the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine could be up to 95% effective based on initial trial results. Pfizer says there are no safety concerns about this vaccine. The 95% efficacy is extraordinary. The FDA previously said it would accept a COVID-19 vaccine that is at least 50% effective. Despite the promising news, vaccine experts and biostatisticians are not ready to declare victory just yet. The health experts caution that the vaccine, should it be approved, was no silver bullet. The genetic material it is made from needs to be stored at temperature of -70 to -80 degrees Celsius. Nobody has any experience working with the vaccine at that temperature. The freezers needed to properly store Pfizer's vaccine are almost like unicorns in healthcare. Such requirements pose a particularly daunting challenge for countries in Asia as well as in places like Africa and Latin America, where intense heat is often compounded by poor infrastructure that will make it difficult to keep the ultra-cold chain intact during deliveries to rural areas and islands. That is a problem for everyone in the world. The World Health Organization estimates about 70% of people around the globe must be vaccinated to end the novel coronavirus pandemic, and Asia alone is home to more than 4.5 billion people. Furthermore, vaccine specialists caution that as the trial continues, the 95% efficacy figure could increase or decrease, and that the vaccine may ultimately prove to work better in some groups than others. This is certainly possible, especially in the elderly and immune-compromised group. And although the vaccine hasn't sounded any safety alarms, the FDA will require at least 2 months of safety data before it considers even a limited authorization for special groups. It also requires at least 6 months of safety data for full approval and widespread dissemination. So, the company still needs to submit more safety data to the FDA for final authorization. And vaccine specialists voiced concern that granting limited FDA authorization based on early data could jeopardize the future of COVID-19 vaccine research, because volunteers might be less inclined to participate in ongoing clinical research. Pfizer has committed to continuing its late-stage trial for 2 years, regardless of whether the FDA agrees to limited authorization. And in recent weeks, the FDA signaled hesitation about whether granting a limited authorization based on an interim analysis and only 2 months of safety data would be the right thing to do. Even if these vaccines are authorized within the next few weeks and months, there will be a limited supplies at first, with any successful vaccine likely prioritized for high-risk patients under a limited approval. In addition, Pfizer can manufacture only a limited quantity of vaccine next year, about 1.3 billion doses, but more than 80% of the supply is already being sold to the richest governments across the world, according to an analysis by a UK-based campaign group. The Global Justice Now analysis shows that over 1 billion doses have been bought by the rich governments. Big purchases include the European Union with 200 million doses and an option for a further 100 million, the UK with 40 million and the US with 100 million and an option to buy another 500 million, according to the group. So regardless of all these, there are some other factors like tropical heat, remote island communities, and insufficient quantity of ultra-cooled freezers which make it difficult to get the Pfizer vaccine for common individuals and especially for developing countries like in Asia and Africa.